Hello and welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Thales. This is my channel about English language. We have contents ranging from basic to advanced, and we talk about everything involving English language, such as vocabulary, English grammar, business English, and many exercises as well. We have more than 700 videos available, and I record videos weekly, so check it out. Before I begin, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to get the latest updates, and give a huge thumbs up if you enjoy the contents from my videos. We have videos with explanations in Portuguese, basic level, and intermediate advanced videos. They are recorded in English only. All right, so for everyone who wants to learn English, we have a complete grammar English course. So check it out, open the main page and search the topics you want to study. All right, well, today is another video from the series Read and Talk About, in which I choose an article, something from the news, from the internet, and we read and talk about it, right? It's a great way, reading is a great way to improve our vocabulary, to understand how grammar works. So let's get going. The view. Okay, so allergy season is about to get worse. Here's how to prepare. Okay, so this news article is from New York Times, right? It was released today, I believe. Yes, 21st, April 21st. And we will talk about it in a way that we will explore the topics, not English grammar. The main purpose here is to explore vocabulary and to give you some arguments, to give you some food for thought, okay? And so that you can take the topics and talk about it with another person. That's how we build our vocabulary. And most importantly, you must be able to think in English. So this video is aimed at intermediate advanced students who already have a good understanding of the language. Allergy season is about to get worse. Okay, so here we have about the allergy season. What does it mean? It means that it's a period of the year in which people get worse, probably due to change of weather, right? The weather changes or something happens. And when you say is about to get worse, it's something bad, okay? Worse is about to get worse. Get better is a good thing. Get worse is something bad. I'm allergic, right? I'm allergic to dust, to smoke, mostly, almost everything. But I consider myself privileged because ever since I came to Rio to live alone, I haven't had as many allergy crises as before. So my situation is getting much better. Here, the article is talking how to prepare for allergy season. Do you prepare yourself for allergy season? I don't know if we have such a thing in Brazil, allergy season. Of course, when the weather is cold or people get worse, right? They start having flu or allergy gets worse for some reasons. If you act quickly, there are a few practical steps you can take to manage symptoms. Reduce allergens. Allergens are things that make your I could say that they are triggers, right? They trigger your allergy to start happening. So how to reduce allergens in your home and to get long-term relief. Long-term is something that takes a long time. So if you take a long-term relief, it means that you will not have any problems about allergy for a long time if you take the precautions recommended by this article. So here we have a picture, and then the article begins here. Well, I will leave the link every video from Read and Talk About, either in Portuguese or explanations in Portuguese, or these ones that are recorded entirely in English. I leave the link for you to read the article. But I have a warning to say to you. The New York Times, they have limited access sometimes to the articles. They demand you to subscribe. You see, I opened two articles from New York Times, and it's already asking me to subscribe. I have no interest in subscribing anyway, but it asks you to subscribe after you open a certain number of articles. So it happens in Brazil as well. I believe the newspaper Folha de São Paulo does that. After some articles you are unable to open any longer. Globo does the same thing anyway. Just a disclaimer, right? Because if you try to open the link I left for you and it doesn't open for any reason or requires you to subscribe, it's not my fault. Okay. Springtime comes with an uptick in stuffy noses and scratchy throats. And for many, it has nothing to do with COVID. Yeah, that's another thing. You know, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. Of course, the situation has gotten much better than before, but we must still take care. Well, here we are talking about some situations that allergic people have. Stuffy noses. Stuffy noses, it's when you have a lot of stuff in your nose, right? And scratchy throats, it's when you do this. You feel that it's scratchy, right? Scratchy, it's like this. You take scratch. This is to scratch. And when you say scratchy throat, it means that your throat is scratchy. When was the last time that you had an uptick in when you had stuffy noses and scratchy throats? Think about it. And springtime comes with an uptick in these symptoms. So an uptick, it means that it's something that is increasing. And it's important to separate things, right? One thing is COVID-19 and another thing is when we talk about symptoms from allergy, okay? There are 19.2 million adults and 5.2 million children in the US who suffer from seasonal allergies. So allergies in general, they are seasonal, also called hay fever. Wow. According to the CDC, right? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Here in Brazil, I believe that many people, I still consider this number to be low, you know. Given the population of the United States, more than 300 people, I believe there are many people in there. I don't know what's the population, USA population. I want to know what the population is. You see, 134 million people, right? It's a lot of people. So when you say that only, between quotations, right? Only 19 million adults and 5.2 million children, yeah, it's not even 10% of the population, but of course it's a lot of people. Some of the symptoms of allergies like congestion, coughing, and a runny nose. Runny nose, it's when something runs from your nose and you keep and you have to keep cleaning your nose. It's, to me, it's one of the most uncomfortable symptoms, because if you are doing something such, if you are working, or if you are in the middle of the meeting, or you are talking, anyway, doing anything, you have to pay attention to your nose because it's a runny nose and doesn't stop. It's pretty bad. Okay, so they overlap with warning signs of COVID-19. What does it mean? It means that COVID-19 symptoms, some symptoms, they are the same, or they also happen when you have COVID-19. But of course, there are other symptoms as well. And not necessarily if you have a runny nose, you have COVID. Of course not. When you have fever, for example, fever can be a variety of situations, right? So you can't pinpoint and say, oh, I have fever because of COVID. It can be anything. And I'm not a doctor. I'm only reading the article with you. But if your nose turns into a leaky faucet every spring, you know, when in the toilet or bathroom, you have a faucet that leaks water. It's like a leaky faucet, right? That keeps dropping water all the time. Allergies are the likely culprit. Unfortunately, that's where the good news ends. Where is the good news? Where are the good news, right? Where is no, where are? Because news is only in plural form, okay? I believe that when they say good news is that if you have some of symptoms or warning signs from COVID, most likely it's not COVID. I believe that's what it's talking about, or what is being considered good news. Several studies show that pollen seasons are getting longer and more intense across the country. Climate change and rising carbon dioxide emissions are expected to boost the growth of trees and grasses in many areas, which will mean higher pollen concentrations. Well, in this paragraph, the emphasis given here is pollen from plants, right? From trees and grasses. But you know, there are many triggers to allergy. You may have allergy to some food or something you drink, such as you have allergy to milk, for example, allergy to smoke, allergy to cigarettes, allergy to dust. I have allergy to almost everything. It's terrible. You know, climate change is impacting our health, right, in a huge manner. And when you have rising carbon dioxide emissions, many countries and companies from from these countries, they are required to do something, to have a plan to reduce, to mitigate such situations, right? For people who have been managing seasonal allergies for a long time, they may have already noticed allergy symptoms starting earlier, lasting longer, and being more intense than even a few years ago. Do you have a seasonal allergy? Do you know someone in your family that has a seasonal allergy? And let's start paying attention to the patterns, right? It's suggested here that the symptoms, it's like a cycle, right? It's seasonal. It comes and goes. Every year you have a period of the year in which you are more susceptible to such things. So you may have an allergy crisis, or something may happen to your health. Allergy symptoms, let's analyze the people you know. Let's talk about the people you know. Do you believe that the allergy seasons, they are lasting longer? Do you take some kind of treatment? Do you go to the doctor on a regular basis to talk about your allergy? I have to admit that I haven't done that in a long time. I guess some years ago, I don't remember when, I went to an allergist, right? A doctor that takes care of allergy, in which he suggested a treatment, but no, I didn't take it further. It was, I had to take some shots of some kind of vaccine or something like that. It's a treatment, but I don't believe in that. When I was a child, I went under this kind of treatment and did nothing to me. Okay, so here we have an advertisement. Okay, so the focus of this is allergy, right? In the southeast, it's pollen allergy. Pollen counts start rising as early as January for some trees. So it's about the nature in which you have more pollen counts for some trees, such as cedar and juniper. Elm, maple, and oak trees have pollen seasons. So all of these are different kinds of trees, right? Cedar, juniper, elm, maple, oak trees. They have pollen seasons that can run from March to May. In the northern USA, several types of grasses also start releasing pollen in late spring or early summer, according to the AAFA. I have no idea what this is. AAF. Okay. Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. Okay. I skipped this part of the paragraph. I mentioned the quote from Kenneth, but I didn't say who said that. Okay, it's my bad, right? Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. In general, the articles, they give details, or they tell what the letters stand for, but sometimes they don't. So it's a rule of thumb. The first time you mention this expression, you give a full explanation, and then the next one you can use an abbreviation to that, okay? Though flowers are often blamed, it means that people say that it's because of the flowers, it's the flowers' fault that people are having more allergy symptoms. They don't usually trigger seasonal allergies because their pollen is large and sticky, designed to attract insects rather than float through the air. If you have something that is sticky, it's less likely that it will keep flying, right? Through the air. It's not likely to float through the air. So this paragraph is saying that people blame flowers, but they don't usually trigger seasonal allergies because of that. Is there a way you can avoid pollen? Mr. Mendes says, you cannot avoid pollen entirely, but there are ways to prevent or reduce symptoms. And you may just have to take these steps a little earlier every year. So there are some things you can do, right, to prevent or reduce symptoms. There is no guarantee that this will happen, but if you do those things, probably it's suggesting throughout the article. We want to read everything, but we will talk a little about each topic we have here. Let's see where I stopped. Find the medication that works for you. Okay. When I have allergy, I'm used to taking some specific medicine that works for me. But here it's saying several over-the-counter and prescription medications can help with allergy symptoms. Many doctors recommend nasal steroid sprays like Nasonex with a prescription, right? Or Toughness as the first line of treatment, said Dr. Sandra, an allergist at the Cleveland Clinic. Okay, so here is saying of the first line of treatment, over-the-counter medication. It means that you can buy medication easily when you go to a drugstore. When I went to the US, every time I go to the US, I noticed that it's much easier to buy medication for common diseases, right? Just if you have flu, if you have this, if you have that, of course, there are many medications that require you to have a prescription, right? It's like in Brazil, it works more, but you have a much wider variety of medications available there. It's incredible. You have to see to believe it. But they may take a few days or weeks to provide relief from stuffiness and sneezing. Stuffiness, it's when you feel that your nose is heavy, that your head, oh my God, it's everything. It's like you were carrying a burden, right? You feel that it's stuffy, right? And sneezing, achoo, right? Aching, sneezing. So it's best to begin using them early in the season before your symptoms become severe. Here we have some antihistamines that I know. Allegra, I buy sometimes. Claritin, I know, but I have never bought it. Optivar for eye drops, because allergy impacts not only your nose, it may impact your eyes, your skin. It's terrible. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Give your sinuses a bath. Okay, so here we are talking about nasal irrigation. There are some a neti pot. Do you know a neti pot, what it is? I've seen people using neti pot. I'm going to show you. This is a neti pot. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's a little weird, right, to use a neti pot to flush your sinuses. So I don't know how to say. It's sinuses or sinuses. sometimes I sinuses. That's right. Okay, so it's sinuses as I pronounce in the first place, okay? Here it says, it seems like a simple concept, but it helps flush out mucus, right? Mucus, it's what comes out of your nose when it's a runny nose, right? Pollen and other allergens in your nasal cavity. Okay. The result is that you feel less congested and you may need less allergy medication. Sometimes it's true. It happens that you are sneezing a lot, and when you have you flush out what is in your stuffy nose, it helps you feel lighter. Of course, it won't solve the problem, but sometimes it may help you alleviate the symptoms, right? Plan time outdoors wisely. What does it mean? It means that you have to plan when you are going out. So you can see weather forecasts. There are even allergy forecasts or pollen counts. I believe here in Brazil we don't have that. At least I have never looked up for that kind of information. Here it says that pollen counts tend to be at their highest level early morning and mid-morning, as well as on hot, dry, windy days. Okay, so if you intend to have some exercise outdoors, think again, right? You can exercise indoors instead of outdoors, right? To have some exercise at home, or to plan to run your errands later when you have appointments, you have meetings, you have to go to the supermarket, stuff like that, okay? When you have to buy something or do something and you have to go out. You know, technology helps us a lot. So instead of going out, we may take order food, everything you can buy from the internet. But depending on the situation, it's better that you go to the store to buy, or when you have an appointment with a doctor to see about your allergy symptoms, it's better. I believe it works only when you go to the doctor's office. I don't believe in medicine from a distance, video medicine in such situations, right? Reduce pollen at home. Not only pollen, but dust as well. My main problem here, I believe everyone's problems are about dust, right? If you live in a big city, if your house is in the middle of you have an access to a street with many cars, you may expect some black dust, right? When my previous apartment, I had a lot of trouble cleaning my apartment. I cleaned my apartment in the morning, in the afternoon it was already dirty. But here in this apartment I'm in, I'm happier now because we don't have many things that bring dust, okay? It's much better. My apartment, my windows, I don't see cars crossing the street or walking, or people walking, you know, when you live in a very smoky place, right? Many cars. Of course, I live in the middle of the city, but my house position helps, right? It helps. Okay, so the focus here is talking about pollen, But we also talk about some recommendations that I believe they are valid. Take your shoes off and change your clothes when you get home. Yeah, I believe. Shower before going to bed. I always do this. It's advisable. And a furry pet. Some people are allergic to pets. Okay? It's not just about pollen. It's about furry animals, cats, dogs. Some pillows, they have hypoallergenic encasements, right? Even for your mattress in your bed, you can cover your bed, but yeah, I believe it may help, but I don't know. It doesn't eliminate all the possibilities. Here we have about recommendations about air conditioner filter. I don't have an air conditioner, but it has a lot of dust in it. Many particles spread floating through the air. You may not be able to see it, but it's very harmful for your health. And consider allergy immunotherapy. I tried, but doesn't work for me. If allergies are taking a toll on your everyday life, making your life more difficult, like a burden you have to carry, you may want to talk to your doctor about immunotherapy for long-term relief. So you have, I went under this kind of exam, skin prick exam, okay? In which your doctor tests whether you have allergy to many different allergens, right? Dust, smoke, some kind of food, right? And I remember I had my skin all irritated, right? It was terrible. It was all red, all sore because of the needle, right? It's like a needle that it sticks to your skin, and then you see what you're allergic to or what you're not allergic to. Okay, so that's it. We don't have many things about it, but I highly recommend you to read. It's one thing that is funny, right? When I record these videos, I never read the article in advance. I never. So I only read the highlight of the news article, and then I start recording. So, Thales, do you have some preparation? You read about something before? No. It's a way of challenging myself to speak about some topic that I'm not so sure what's coming through the article, but it's also very useful, as it helps us improve our communication skills, mainly vocabulary, spoken language, written language. So I highly recommend that if you study English regularly, you do this at least twice, 3 times a week. If possible, every single day, have contact with the language, okay? So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share the content with your friends, and until next time.